You know our next guest as the no-nonsense police lieutenant, Anita Van Buren from Law & Order. We also know her as the incredibly talented, multi-award-winning actress of stage and television. Welcome, Epatha Merkerson. Welcome.
Thank you.
You know what? Your final season, your character really went through some challenges with her health.
Yes,
right?
Yeah, she did.
Cervical cancer, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Where were you in your life at that point? After facing some of the challenges that you had, and did you relate to what?
Well, I think all of us can relate, especially to people who are having trouble with insurance, and that was the big thing with Van Buren. Yeah. But also just being healthy and, you know, what it takes to be healthy.
Sure.
Yeah.
You were tell us a little bit about, because you were diagnosed type 2 diabetes.
Yeah, I was diagnosed almost 12 years ago now, and I was doing a big convention, health fair convention in D.C. I was there as the guest, you know, the celebrity, and they had a place where you could go and cook a delicious and nutritious meal, and then there was a place where you could exercise, and then with the camera following, I go to Howard University. It set up a table to take blood sugar. So I had my finger pricked, and when the camera went off, the doctor walked over and he said, "When you're done, could you come back?" And I thought he wanted a photograph or an autograph. So I was like, sure. And I went back over and he tested my blood sugar again, and he said, "You know, it's reading very high. You should see your doctor." And that's how I found out.
Whoa, did you ask him, like, why, or were you surprised he said that?
Well, I have a history of diabetes in my family, so I wasn't quite sure I was going to accept what he said until I saw my doctor and I was diagnosed. But you know, even having the history in my family, I wasn't aware of any of the symptoms.
Yeah.
Well, you know, now that you're out talking about it, part of the awareness is even though it ran in your family, you still didn't go on your own to do it.
No, I did not. And the thing about diabetes is that it presents itself differently to different people. So what someone else may go through is not what I would go through, and I didn't know how to read the signs, and that's why it's so important that we do this education, and I'm so happy to have teamed up with Merck to do this.
What was the exact diagnosis was what? Just
type 2 diabetes.
That's what you had. Okay.
What's the
adult
difference?
onset.
What's the difference between 2 and 1?
Well, 1 is usually a juvenile, as it's called, but type 2 is adult onset
Meaning
diabetes.
it comes later in life?
Absolutely, which makes it even more difficult to make life changes.
Sure.
Yeah.
What was that? What life changes? What are they required, and what do they recommend?
Well, the first thing that you should know is what your A1C number is. That's the most important thing.
What is an A1C?
A1C is a simple test that you take. It's a blood test, and it allows the doctor to obtain information on your blood sugar levels for a 2 to 3 month period. And with that information, then between your doctor and yourself, you can come up with a treatment plan that will help you meet the A1C goal, which is a blood sugar level of below 7%. Right. And so these are the things that I've been learning. 29 million Americans with diabetes in this country, and nearly half of them are not at goal.
Well, when you mentioned, though, before the symptoms, you weren't about the symptoms. Did you have any symptoms that you
in retrospect,
when you look back on it?
Yeah.
And what were they?
Frequent urination, thirst, hunger, and with some people it presents as a loss of weight. You know, and if you're curious at all, if you have a history of it at all in your family, the important thing to do is to connect with your doctor or healthcare provider.
You mentioned something just before Christina asked the question. You said there are some millions of people in this country.
29.
Half aren't at goal.
At their A1C goal. That A1C number is really important in terms of diabetes management.
Okay.
It allows your doctor to see. See, we prick our fingers every day, some people twice a day. That gives us a daily reading. What the A1C does, it allows the doctor to have an overview of how you're managing your diabetes for a 2 to 3 month period.
But why aren't they at that goal?
Well, some people don't know that they're diabetic. Some people have not gotten their A1C number. There are many reasons why there are 29 million people in this country with diabetes.
Well, let me ask you, do you think it's because most people are afraid to find out if they have it? Because it's manageable, isn't it?
See, and that's the most important point. So what happens when we do programs like this is that we get information out to people. That's so important. What is important to know is that type 2 diabetes is manageable, and you can be proactive in your health care, and that's what I've been doing. And one of the things that I always say is for people to not get discouraged, because it is a progressive condition. It does change over the years, so your treatment plan may change, as mine has. And I've struggled with it.
You have how so?
Well, I'm 62. I was diagnosed at 50, and at 50, I had learned how to not eat well. And so
Yes.
I was eating like a 12-year-old,
Yeah. Okay.
honestly.
Yeah.
So I had to figure out how to sit at a table and eat a meal that would fill me, but would also help me and not destroy, to make it worse than what it was.
What's a meal that's helpful? Because I think I eat like a 9-year-old. I mean, there are times I go, what am I doing?
You know, for me, it was like removing a lot of sugar, eating fresh vegetables, and not killing them when you cook them. Maybe, a piece of chicken baked. And, just eating things that are nutritious for you. More fruit and a lot of water, drinking lots of water.
What about breads and things like that?
Well, I think moderation for me, I'm going to speak for me. I think everything in moderation, because there are things that I do like. And so I what I had to learn was portion control.
Oh,
you don't have to eat everything on the plate. Like as kids, my mother always said, "Oh, you don't belong to the clean plate club," and now I don't. I don't eat a lot of it.
So the food is one sort of a tack on how you do it. Is exercise, is that important?
Absolutely, and if anyone followed me on Law and Order, they know that I'd gained a lot of weight on national television, and so I've been really trying to work very hard and losing weight, and over the past 12 years, I've probably lost about 20 pounds, but it was hard. Thank you.
Yeah.
Could you ever, with the weight loss and proper exercise, could you turn the type 2 diabetes around so you don't have it?
Well, I try not to answer any questions about medical issues because I was not on Grey's Anatomy. But what it will help you do, manage it, and that's the most important thing. That that if you manage it properly, then you will alleviate yourself from having those complications, which can be devastating.
Well, thank you for sharing your story with us.
very
It was
much.
so wonderful to have
Manage
you
it,
here.
manage it. That's
And
you.
americasdiabeteschallenge.com. Come on the website and pledge with me to know your A1C. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
so
Thank you.
much for coming on. If you want to follow her on Twitter, you can follow her at @S_Epatha. And again, most of the stuff that we shared with you is going to be on our website. If not, americasdiabeteschallenge.com awaits for you. When we
you
come
again.
back, waiting for us on the other side is Ken Wingard.
Mother Nature and glitter are getting together. Coming up next.